Hey guys, today I want to talk about my intake mods. One's already done and one I'm about to do in this video. One of the easiest mods you can make to your car is to change the air filter inside the air filter box. A lot of other people have modified their cars this way and they've chosen filters from Profilter or K&N or other well-known makes, but their filters tend to be oiled filters. But in my case, I've chosen the aFe Power Pro Dry oil-free performance air filter for the B58 engine. It claims to have 24% more airflow than the stock air filter, and it does this without any oil. Why is having oil a disadvantage? Well, the oil can find its way to the mass airflow sensor, and if the mass airflow sensor is contaminated and is reporting incorrect airflow to the ECU, then the ECU will not be requiring the correct amount of fuel. Why would you want to replace the air filter? Well, you would want to replace the air filter if you can get more air into the engine, you can get more air into the cylinders, that is, then the ECU can inject more fuel, and more air and more fuel together mean more engine power. So it's not expected to be a dramatic change by itself. However, approximately 5 horsepower could theoretically be expected from a more free-flowing air filter. Let's have a look inside the box. And inside you find your sealed filter. Should be the same shape and size as the stock filter, as we'll soon see. And you also find a warranty registration, and with this warranty registration you also get some discounts, I suppose, if you live in the USA. And there's also a little sticker inside, as far as I can see, and this is to let people who service your car know that this is not a disposable filter, this is actually a washable filter. I think I will avoid installing this sticker or adding this sticker to the intake muffler, and if I do take the car for a service, I think I will just put the stock filter back in. That way I don't have to worry about it. Now, these things, you can actually open them with your fingers if you have really strong fingers. I don't, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a little screwdriver, and the reason I'm using this lint-free cloth is just I don't like to damage parts in my engine, and I don't want to take the risk, so I'm just gonna use the lint-free cloth to ensure I don't damage the intake muffler box. I'm like that with everything I own. And there's another one, a fourth one there, but I think we can get away with it just opening these three. There we go. You can see the stock air filter. And we'll also get it out through this gap. Yeah, easy peasy. You can see the discoloration. So that's probably contaminants from the atmosphere that have already darkened it. The same thickness. And I can tell you this one is much heavier. Much heavier than the paper air filter. Obviously it has to go in this way. Okay, that's one, that's two, and that's three. So it looks good, everything is back in place. There you go. BMW invests a lot of time designing the intake muffler box and the location of the intermuffler box within the engine bay. I think the aftermarket filters, which are installed outside of the intake muffler box, are much more susceptible to heat soak, especially in a hot climate country like Cyprus. This is why I chose to retain this box and try to make the most of it. I also haven't deleted the insulating material from inside the muffler box. Perhaps that material is not solely for the purpose of noise insulation. Perhaps that material has a different purpose, i.e. it directs the flow into the filter in some way. Perhaps removing it will create some form of turbulence. ahead of the filter, which I don't think would be desirable. So I'm not going to touch that at all. As you all know, the air from the intake muffler box goes into the compressor section of the turbocharger, where it gets heated up and compressed, and then it goes through the charge pipe into the intercooler. And the hot air climate mod essentially allows cooler air to go into the compressor section of the turbocharger. How does it accomplish that? The air that goes into the air filter comes in through this snorkel. You can see the snorkel. It's that long, rectangular almost tube that goes towards the front of the engine. And typically that tube rests on this rubber support. So it's drawing air not from a dedicated place, it's drawing air from within the engine bay. So the air that's being drawn in is slightly warm. BMW has a dedicated intake for this intake muffler, and it is at the front of the engine, but it's typically blanked out. So this piece of plastic seals it up. Instead, you remove this piece of plastic and you replace it with this grille. So this grille, as you can see, I have a spare one because this one's broken. It arrived broken, but I got a partial refund by the supplier, Williams Performance, so thank you to them for that. So typically you replace this blank with a dedicated intake. As you can see, there's a dedicated intake now that feeds air ahead of the intercooler radiator, that feeds the coldest air possible, so it's from outside the car into the intake muffler. And what does that mean? As we've said before on another video on my channel, the hotter the air, the less dense it is. Less dense means in the specific volume of air, there's less oxygen. So if you cool the air down, it means there's more oxygen in that air. So you're going to get, once again, with more oxygen, you can get more power. One thing I should mention is you can potentially add a scoop just in front of the new grille. This is to further direct air into the snorkel. Even Churi, for example, install a little scoop, and some people have improvised little scoops as well. But I haven't done that to my car. I am a little bit annoyed that I don't have the hot climate mod from production. In Cyprus, the summers, we can see 46 degrees. I mean, I don't understand why my car wasn't spec'd with the hot climate mod straight away. Nevertheless, because it's a BMW option, both of the parts I've obtained are BMW parts, original BMW parts, designed for the B58 engine. Because of that, I'm very happy to perform this mod and see how it improves the car. So all the previous tests I've performed, the 0 to 60 tests, were all with the stock air filter and without the hot climate mod. It is possible that I've screwed up what was already a well-engineered setup. There is the potential to lose power by interfering with the intake air, because it's so fine-tuned to begin with. Obviously, what we're going to do now is drive around for a while and let the ECU relearn and readjust to the current mod status of the car. That's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you in the next one.